Hello, YouTube! Welcome back to Stellaris, and of course, the new Roman Empire, led by our Emperor Appy. So, when we last left off, we had found several new alien species, but the biggest and most important is, of course, this Theta Menace. We haven't even figured out what they look like yet, what their intentions are. So that's what our envoy Quartra Nipia? Yeah, whatever, however you say her name, is going to figure out. We also, of course, found the crystalline entities, and they're spread out pretty far. In this episode, I'm planning on getting this as soon as I can, but it does not look like I'm going to. So, let's just turn on back. Which is unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Yep, you see, that's the problem. Sometimes you unfortunately get things like that where they are able to go and do that. Ah, yes. And of course, we were invading another Bronze Age civilization. So, we will bring order to their chaotic existence. Oh, and here's a big one right here. This is the custodial matrix, the ancient caretakers. These guys are a fallen empire. There are a maximum of 5 of these guys, and they represent several different ethics. Several different ethics. There's one for each ethic: materialist, military, isolationist. Actually, no. I think there's only spiritualist, materialist, xenophile, and xenophobe. I think there are only those 4, plus these guys, which are Gestalt consciousness. But I could be wrong. Could be one for each type of ethic. Both the robotic Gestalt consciousness and the organic Gestalt consciousness. I could be wrong though. I mean, in all my games I've played, I think I've only encountered these 5. The 4 ethics I mentioned earlier, and these caretakers. But I could be forgetting one because, well, my games of Stellaris do tend to run pretty long. These guys, though, these guys are pretty chill. First encounter with Irobot Continuance. Biological civilization detected. Initiate custodial protocol 46 subroutine alpha 8. Message follows. Greetings, organic sapiens. You are approaching Irobot Continuance territory. These systems serve as a refuge for sapient organics against the error data block corrupted threat. For refugee status applications, proceed to central processing. All sapient organic species are welcomed on basis of availability and need. Notice, hostile actions against refugee or custodial systems will be met with maximum available force deployment. And then we have 3 options. Now, these 3 options are as you might notice, your first protocol options. Good one, the neutral one, the bad one. Obviously, for the Fallen Empires, they don't give a shit. They do not give a shit for whatever the hell you say because they are just so far above you at the start, it's not even funny. In fact, funny enough, unless you really, really, really min-max, you're not going to be a threat to them until late mid-game, at best. And min-maxing to hell and getting oh so lucky. Realistically, you're going to be messing about with these guys late game, mid-late game, probably. And you're going to be wanting to mess with at least one of the Fallen Empires because their Fallen Empire crap is so fucking good. Better weapons, better armor, better everything. Reactors. They have the, I believe they have the taking down their ships and scanning the salvage that you get from it, I believe is the only way you can get tier 5 armor, reactors, engines. Unless I'm wrong. I could be wrong about that. Maybe there's an origin, or maybe if you get so far along the tech tree. But honestly, in my personal opinion, it's just a guarantee just to attack these guys. And these guys specifically are pretty okay. They're kind of chill. For an organic species like me, they're going to ask me to send somebody, and I'm gonna let them, even though technically speaking, I'm sure the Roman Empire wouldn't be really down with that, but I don't want to piss them off. And that would piss them off. You don't want to piss off the Fallen Empire, trust me on that one. First alien encounter. The news that we have engaged intelligent alien lifeform for the first time has shaken our society to the core. Leaked footage of these brazen creatures is spreading through media outlets across the new Roman Empire, and many citizens have been gripped by panic. Writing has been reporting in several cities on Earth. These strange Xenos have achieved a level of technology far beyond our own, and they appear to have been spacefaring for thousands of years, possibly even longer. Fortunately for us, their kind appears to be decrepit and stagnating species. Yeah, that's another thing about the Fallen Empires. They're not called Fallen Empires for no reason. They're strong, they're super great, but they're not going to expand. Yet. In the late game, there's something called the War in Heaven. Now, the War in Heaven is basically when two opposing Fallen Empires exist at the same time. Like, say, a xenophobe and a xenophile, or the materialists and the spiritualists. If those two exist at the same time, and more than likely, most of the time, they have to be semi-close by to each other, or at least they have been for most of my games, they will trigger a war in heaven where they will become an awakened empire. That is basically all of their shit gets supercharged, and they begin expanding. They begin basically vassalizing everybody around them into their faction, and then they go to war with the opposite ethic awakened empire. They both awaken at the same time. So more often than not, you're going to want to kill one of the opposing ideologies, ethics. So that way, neither one of them wakes up. For the caretakers, we're lucky as shit. Those guys ain't never going to awaken. Well, okay, correction. They will awaken, if I remember correctly, if the crisis at the end of the game, or near the end of the game, is dangerous enough. If enough organic species basically get their shit rocked, I believe the contingency has a chance, not a guarantee, a chance of becoming an awakened empire and rocking the ever-living crap out of those motherfuckers. Of course, that hasn't happened to me before, because usually by the time the crisis does show up, I'm usually good enough to where I'm just ready and able to just kick the crap out of it back to wherever it came from. Alrighty. And here they are. Now, I should warn you, Fallen Empires are amazing. They are incredible. They are powerful. They are very powerful. And what's more is, 9 times out of 10, you might not even know where the hell they are, because they're right here. But if they're if they had scanners, which I believe the Xenophiles and the Materialists have really great scanners, they could have picked me up here or even here before I even knew that they were right over here. And I've had games where it's wigged out to where it doesn't show up right away for like a couple years, like 2-3 years in game. So I'm like scrambling, like, where the hell are you guys? And then I finally freaking find them. Ugh. But you want to keep the Fallen Empires on your good side. Because if you keep them on your good side, you can go through their territory. And that's why I'm going to give them... That's why I'm going to give them one of my citizens. I know that it's breaking immersion, but I'm going to be giving them one of my citizens. I don't want to piss them off and close off this area. I've already got one side that's going to be closed off. I don't want another side closed off, especially when I don't have to. But that does help us out a little bit. Because if you'll remember correctly, I said that getting a new outpost set up costs more and more influence the further away you get. It costs the same amount of influence that it would cost you to do it here and to here. Basically, the 600 that would cost you to put it down here would be added onto this one. So it would cost 120. Yeah, see? Alright, first contact event pending. Our original first contact. Oh, yes, our original first contact, the crystalline entity. And it appears that it has been finished. So, our researchers have finished investigating the reports of extraordinary free-floating crystal-like objects observed in the new Roman Empire system. Their findings are startling. These ship-sized objects, and their slightly smaller but equally crystal-like satellites, at first appeared inert, but sudden shifts in their orientation relative to our ships and new energy signatures emerging from within the prisms indicate that they should be regarded as hazardous and approached with extreme caution. We should deploy a fleet to gauge the crystal's offensive strength. Should they possess any... We should deploy a fleet to gauge the crystal's offensive strength, should they possess any, and destroy them if they are a threat. And we have two options here. Easy prey, or fascinating creatures. Now, if you are a xenophile, or I believe any other that isn't a xenophobe, you get a second option. I mean, a third option. And that is to basically pacify them. Basically get them to be neutral to you. We are xenophiles, so that is definitely off the table. I believe this easy prey comes from being both a xenophile or a militarist. It doesn't have to be both. It doesn't have to be... It can be either or, I believe, if I remember correctly. And I am obviously going to do this because, well, they're still going to be hostile. Well, I guess technically if I choose Fascinating Creature, I might be able to make them neutral, but I'm going to make them hostile because, one, I get extra damage against them. Two, I get minerals every time I destroy one of their fleets, and I happen to have a cool crap ton of fleets around me. And honestly, that seems very, very much how my empire would run things. Alright, we got a tradition. I neither one of these is really good. But I don't think I want to go and change to... I don't think I want to add any of the others just quite yet, honestly. Alright, then we'll just lower the upkeep cost for our researchers. Okay. Now, yes, see, like I said before, Petra is outside of our sector here. So, what we do is we go over to here, go over to the surface or the management? The management. No sector. It's a frontier, it's called a frontier planet. So, we just create a new sector, and now, once we actually unpause, it's part of its own sector. Now it has its own sector. So, we will add this official to the, to the sector, because they're not really doing anything else, so might as well put them to work. Oh, and this would make a great mining world. So, let's just plop down a few mining districts, and we'll be making a whole crap ton of minerals. Ah, and I'm willing to bet this is the Empire. Yes, we are. Okay, so, spacefaring civilization detected. It has become quickly apparent that the so-called Theta Menace are in fact part of a major spacefaring civilization. Our probes in the, not even going to try to pronounce that system, have detected starships flitting between a number of space stations across the system. And there is a large military station near the system's star that seems to act much like the outpost we built in the systems we claim. We have been able to intercept considerable volumes of communications traffic, but so far, accurate translations have proven elusive. Let's nab some for closer investigation or worrying. We are going to do this. It's going to piss them off, but we're going to go to war with them eventually anyways. This will just basically speed up, if we're successful, this will just speed up learning more about them. And if you want to expand quickly, you might have noticed when we finished that crystalline entity first contact, it gave us influence. That is how you gain a majority of your influence early game. Early game, that's how you get most of your influence, is by basically finding the various other empires and initiating first contact with them. Because if you don't, they will. And you'll lose out on all that influence. The faster you can discover them first, the better. Okay. And new event. Sublight exploration probes. Before we developed faster than light travel, several sublight exploration probes were dispatched from Earth at near relativistic speeds towards nearby systems. The scientists who developed the probes naively included sensitive information about our culture in their memory cores as a form of greeting to alien civilizations. It has now been realized that this data could potentially be used against us. We need to track down these probes before they are found by someone, or something, unsympathetic to our species. They can't have gotten far. And this is just another little quest. Hunt these down. And I know from experience that for these things, you're going to want a decent military. Because, well, not all the probes are going to be found by people willing to just hand them over. So, I'm going to go and start making a military, despite the fact that I didn't want to right away. But since we got that now, we're going to need one. Hmm. It appears we found spaceborne anomaly. And it's trying to kill our people. Alright, let's see. Where are you at? Ah, more crystalline entities. Yeah, honestly, the crystalline entities and the other... What am I gonna call them? Other such creatures tend to be a bit... They tend to be a bit expansive. Like, they will go and they will expand their own forces themselves. It's slow, but they eventually will. And more factions forming. Obviously, to view your factions, I believe you go to societal management? No? Then it must be in the government. Yes. Factions. So, these are our 3 factions that we have so far. Ah. So, slightly odd. We have the Human Superiority Front, which is our biggest. Literally, it's our biggest. And that's because it has 2 of our guiding ethics, so a lot of people are going to be drawn to this. Now, each and every faction has their own little issues they want you to deal with. Huh. Anyways, has their own basically goals they want you to take care of. For instance, the HSF want a human emperor, a harmonious council. Basically, they want to have just humans on the council. Strong loan. Basically, they don't want to be in a federation. Invasive xeno studies, which means they want to be aggressive towards the primitive civilizations. Xenos disenfranchised. Basically, they want to make sure no Xenos get any sort of full citizens. Aggressive first contact protocols. Pretty self-explanatory. Oppressive subjugation policies, which, once again, self-explanatory. Represented on the council, which means they want their ethos, or I believe, yes, they want their ethics on a council or a ruler. And then finally, a ruler has the ethics. Basically, they want the ruler to have the militarist and the xenophile traits. But they only have the militarist trait. They don't have the xenophobe trait. Ah, and modifiers. See, now we have crystal hunters. As you solve various anomalies and archaeological sites, you'll get modifiers for your empire. Slowly but surely. So, there are a lot of different factions. So, you'll see that the Silver Guard here, they have one that isn't being kept at all. The ruler has empire ethics. They're kind of happy because he has military. He's a militarist. But they're not super happy because he's not a xenophile. The Silver Guard, they are upset because we're not using our naval capacity as much as we should. Holy crud, we got 100. Okay. Yeah, they're upset because we are extremely below our naval capacity. They want us to be high, like they want us to be basically near up the top at best. And I kind of would agree. Not entirely, because that costs a lot of freaking money. But the rest of this is basically the same as the Humanity Front. They're just easier to please because they have less of it. And then we have, of course, the Association of Scientific Betterment. The militarists. The materialists. These guys are AI allowed, which means they want robotics and artificial intelligence to be allowed to be, utilized. They want the ruler has the ethics, empire ethics, and it appears that the reason why it's yellow isn't because the ruler doesn't have their ethics or doesn't have an additional ethics. It's because the ruler doesn't have the opposite ethics. It'd be red if it was the opposite ethic. If, say, my leader had a spiritualist ethics, it'd be red. Because they don't, it's yellow, which means they don't really like it, but they're not super pissed because it's not that terribly bad. They're represented on the council, apparently. One of our council members must be a militarist, a materialist. And remove any unnecessary restrictions on research, please. Yes, so because we don't have any research restrictions, they're happy. So yeah, realistically speaking, the only thing that we need to work on is getting our naval capacity up, and we're working on it. And you'll see the effects of having our high approval rating is first, every population that has this ethics, that's a part of this faction, will have their happiness affected. Basically, the Humanity Superior Front is giving the maximum amount of happiness to their people. But they're also giving us unity based on how high their approval is. And of course, how high their approval is dictated by how much of their issues were taken care of. You'll see that Silver Guard here. Yeah, they're losing about 10% because of our low naval capacity. But we'll be fixing that soon enough. Not perfectly so, because, good God, 100. That's a lot. I mean, at the start of the game, you're not going to find a lot of civilizations that are going to be able to handle a fleet size of 100. I'm just telling you that right now. I don't really play this much of a militarist that often. So me having 100 isn't really normal for me. Alrighty, so the Theta Menace. A brave team of covert special forces have escaped Theta Menace territory with hostages captured from one of their colonies in the Lithval system. They were able to land on a remote part of the planet in the cover of darkness and seize several live aliens, as well as a large stash of technical hardware that is sure to help us decode their language and assess their technological level. Though the operation went without a hitch and our operatives were able to escape without pursuit, it is probably too much to hope for that the Theta Menace remains ignorant of our actions. Okay. And we have two options. We can either interrogate the hostages or let the vivisection commence. So, do we want to know a little bit but not piss them off, or do we want to know a lot but definitely piss them off? And we are definitely going to piss them off because, like I said, we're already going to be fighting them. I'm not even going to bother trying to go and... Yeah, no, they're hostile with us. I'm not even going to bother trying to act like I'm... Yeah, I'm just going to... That's another thing you do. So long as your science ships aren't actually at war and aren't actively being attacked, you can just remove the leadership, destroy the ship, and bring them on back immediately. Because obviously, if the ship gets destroyed, the scientist goes with it. So if you want to save your best scientist, don't let him do that. And up here, we just found another alien group. So, we will, of course, send our guys up there. Ah, yes. And of course, I am going to go and now I'm going to have to start working my way over here, which is not good. Oh, thank goodness. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I don't have to worry so much. Whew, thank God. These are the these are the best case scenario. These guys are the Tanuki space whales. They are the fourth faction of roamers, and they are absolutely not hostile. Unless you're stupid enough to attack them, they're not hostile. They are just gentle giants. They do not fuck with you if you do not fuck with them. And one thing about these roamers, unlike empires, you don't have to worry about them finishing off first contact before you. So if I say was doing this and another alien species pops up down here, I could just immediately decide, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this contact to focus on this one, and this will be here for as long as I want. It'll never get finished. Of course, because it'll never get finished, you don't get the benefits from the first contact. So, alrighty, what do we have here for our new technology? I'm going to go with the fusion reactor. Now, back in my day, it was actually meta to rush science. Like, get as many scientists working on getting your technology going as quick as possible, because then it wouldn't matter if, say, somebody had like 100 freaking ships. You'd be able just to smash right through them without any sort of worry, because you'd have better technology. Nowadays that's kind of hard to do. Science is really, really hard to go and gather easily. So it's more along the lines of just don't worry about science, at least as far as I'm concerned. All right, so we have another event, and this one is related to what we did, of course. The treachery of Beta Menace. While some were worried at the incursion of unknown alien vessels into our space, it was not clear until now just how much of a threat the Theta Menace posed. Seems they sent a covert force to intercept one of our cargo vessels in the Polisty system, seizing the ship and escaping into the depths of space before we could mount a rescue party. We can only imagine what tortures the crew will suffer at the hands of their captors. So basically, they pulled to us. They did exactly what we did to us. No real big shock. Ah, yes, Mysterious Guardians. So basically, this is talking about the space whales here. And that weird bunched up thing that I showed you, right over here, these guys? Yeah, this is basically the Tanuki graveyard. This is where Tanukis go when it's time for them to die. A large number of Ita Menace are clustered around a planet covered with carcasses of some alien life form. We have no information on these alien entities. We can only speculate on their behavior. Yeah, so I'm I'm not that much of a bastard. I'm gonna protect the space whales. Oh, and there's another event later on where I will also protect that little thing too. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. I do not give a crap about my, I don't really give much of a crap about being a, well, I guess technically speaking, it would be very, very Roman to accept all of that, you know, since they're very, very neutral and very, very not hostile to us. The Roman Empire would immediately, you know, subsume them into the empire, but, you know. That's not how xenophobes work, unfortunately. Okay. Okay, so because we put our tossed our construction ship into here, it started that event chain with the sublight probes. It's why I manually set this one start surveying this, because I didn't want it to go through here and start this quest. Because like I said, sometimes, because a few of these are actually hostile. They will actually have a hostile entity hanging out here. So I'd rather go through with a couple of ships to deal with them. Huh. Apparently they came in and did it again. That might have been a bug. That might have just been a bug. That might have been a bug. But if that's the case, oh well. Not too worried. Have you keep going. Alrighty. So, this is going pretty well, all things considered. Obviously, as you might have noticed, I am upgrading the outpost here to a starbase. Salvagers detected. Okay, so these guys are salvagers. They grab the probe, yada yada yada. They want us to pay 100. 100 ain't nothing. Now, it would have been nice to be able to go and say, no, you ain't getting crap from us, but I didn't notice that my military ship was in there, so. And that is exactly why we did that. That is exactly why we did that. Like I said, not very that wasn't a very strong one, but against a defenseless science ship or construction ship, yeah, gonna just be a steamroll for the alien probe. And that one was basically someone had modified our probe with some sort of artificial intelligence, and it turned hostile because it was crazy. All right, Theta Menace alien study complete. We have concluded our study on the Theta Menace aliens we recently captured. The hostages proved unwilling to cooperate us, but this became a moot point as we began to cut them open. We now know much about their internal functions of their bladders, whatever, grappling fins, and other body parts, giving our genetic researchers valuable xenobiology data. Driven to terror by the cruelty of our actions, a handful of the aliens, who we now know to be Andronians, cooperated with us as we sought to translate their language and access their computer systems. As a result, we now have a considerable intelligence we are able to deploy against them, should the need arise. So, first, we solved the first contact protocol, before they did, luckily. And we apparently will find future first contact processes easier to complete. Awesome. Get influence. But we also gain the research option, xenobiology, and 50% progress on it. We also have knowledge of their internal organs to be used in espionage operations. And we have more intel with them. Basically, more espionage. I'll just show you. And of course, our three options. We can't take the first one because, well, we were very hostile towards them. We will just say, we shall properly greet you in battle. Because honestly, they're gonna hate us irregardless. Yeah, they're a xenophobe just like us, but they are basically just hate. They are just going to hate us. They're spiritualists as opposed to our materialists, so they're gonna hate us irregardless. So we're just going to say we'll see you in battle because we will see them in battle. Now we go over here. We go down to the espionage tab. And you'll see we have intel. Now, we started out at 35, but it declines over time because we don't have anybody working to gather new intel. If we had somebody in here, it would stop declining. It would start going up. I really don't do a lot of espionage. I mean, I could put him in here, and I will. Yeah, I'll put somebody in here because this will help out quite a bit. Because as this intel goes up, we'll learn about how much military they have, what kind of diplomacy they have, their technology level, their economic level, their government level, everything about them basically. We'll even be able to start seeing parts of their empire. This fog of war you see, eventually we're going to be able to see more. And it's been established. So now, oh, it is still going down. Huh. That's weird. I would have thought that it would have started going up. Oh well. So yeah, the infiltration level is going up. Well, maybe the infiltration level needs to be a little bit higher before it goes up all on its own. But that's fine. And you'll see that they claim some of our systems. We can do the same right back to them. We can do the same right back to them. No real big worry there. We can, of course, set up our station to be more, well, ready to kick ass and take names. Possibly chew a bit of bubblegum. Ah, and they declared us a rival, which is actually a very good idea because it gives us more influence. And you see, in the future, that's how you get more influence, is basically just by interacting with other species. Of course, that's also how you lose influence, but that's neither here nor there. So we're losing intel, unfortunately. But honestly, I thought for sure that just by having him in there, it would grow it. But maybe the infiltration level needs to be higher before we can do that. Situation log updated. Okay. Yep. Alright, cool. So we've got all that sorted. More council stuff. And I think we're going to expand the council because we can. Ah, yes. And, oh, hey, neato. So, once you reach a certain number of people, your initial reassembled shelter, which comes with each and every one of your new planets, can be upgraded to a planetary administrative. Now, usually this takes a while. It usually takes a while, but because of, well, these being primitive planets already with quite a few people already on them, it's very easy just to. There's already quite a number of people already there, so kind of jumps it up a bit. One of the main reasons it's a good idea to go and take over primitive civilizations. One of the main reasons we're kind of trying to hurry up and get up here to this space. Ah, yes, and our Tanuki space whale thing is going on good. Long range scanners have picked up readings in the. Oh, no, no, this is a whole new one. Oh, no, nope, it's still the same one. Never mind. I thought it was a new one. Nope, nope, it's Tanuki space whales. Just saying, hey, we're still looking into them. And we got a new tradition, and we're just going to finish off the discovered tree, which just adopting it, basically selecting it, gives us the edict for Map the Stars, as well as an increase in our anomaly research speed. Finishing it gives us plus 10 research speed, which is, so far, allows us access to the Research Cooperative Federation type, and again, not really that necessary, but allows us an Ascension perk unlock. Now, obviously, didn't have to finish this off. I really didn't need these last two, but I really didn't need any of the others yet. So, now we have a Ascension point, which is basically perks that are pretty damn good. Right now, all we have are just tiny, not very good ones. But we get down here and it starts becoming quite a bit funner. Of course, if you know anything about Stellaris, you know about the becoming the crisis. And these two right here are basically two paths to becoming the crisis. Galactic Nemesis is basically just destroying everybody. That's basically what that does. Cosmogenesis also does that, but it's more along the lines of we're leaving, as opposed to we're going to destroy everything, including ourselves. Then, of course, you have the Colossus Project, which allows you to make planet killer ships, which is fine. But what I really like is going down here to the Galactic Wonders. Now, my favorite mod is a expansion mod for Galactic Wonders like these. It basically allows you to build mega structures like the ring section, the matter decompressor, and the Dyson sphere, along with a few other fun little trinkets and toys. I really like that, especially since that mod also allows you to build big planet ships, basically ships made out of planets. Very fun mod. Very fun mod. I definitely suggest it if you are interested in this game a little bit. And we will be getting this Galactic Wonders and the Master Builder at some point, because both of these are very, very handy. Very, very handy. I would suggest getting the Master Builders first, and then the Galactic Wonders. Or either or, but I suggest not building any of these till you get this, because it'll just speed it up a lot. That's the whole point of the Master Builders. It just speeds up building these mega structures incredibly faster. But let's go back up to what we can get. And honestly speaking here, I'm kind of thinking. One Vision. I was thinking the Lord of War, but honestly speaking, here there's only one empire that militia mercenary company whatever could actually be used by other than us, and I really don't feel like fighting against my own people just because they got paid to fight us. So why don't we just speed up our Unity collection game? It appears we still have more things to do here. So, how about we... How about we add a mining support to this planet? Yeah, since all we got are slaves over here. Though once these are built, I am going to want to bring somebody over here because I'm going to want to bring some humans over here because I'm going to need to bring some humans over there. But that's for a later time. Oh. Ah. And over time, factions do change. Especially if you meet a new civilization. As you can see, the Humanities Superior Front has a new one. They want us to declare war on they want us to declare war on a Xenofat empire, one or more, doesn't matter to them. The Silver Guard, they want us to take over alien planets. They want to be overlords of somebody, and they still want us to go and build up our fleet, which we're working on it. We're working on it. These guys are gonna hate us. I'm just telling you right now, they're just always gonna hate us because they want us to be better than any other. They want us to be better than all of our alien neighbors and all of the aliens we know in science, and that's not gonna happen. They also want us to have research trees with a bunch of other alien empires. That's not gonna happen. So they're gonna hate us. That's just what's gonna happen. So, sucks to be them. Should really learn who their leader is. And what his goals are. And it sure as heck ain't building freaking more and more science vessels. Now, good news, bad news. Good news, these aliens right here, they are, for now, stopping anybody from getting through there. For now. It will not last. As you can see, obviously, right now, I've already got 900 fleet power. And I'm not even up to the 20 that normal empires, 20 or 40 that the normal empires usually have at this point. And see, that's what happens. Alphys just got obliterated by this Shardling because they got too close. Now, luckily, it's not a death sentence as soon as a science ship or a construction ship or anything else gets a bit too close to an enemy. All of your ships and the enemy ships can basically warp out. However, when they do that, they become missing in action. And depending on how far away they are from their home starbase, in this case, every construction ship and science ship considers your home planet, or wherever they were built from, their home star system, their home starbase. So, however far away they are from it, is how long time-wise it takes them to come back. In a battle, in a war, this can be a very, 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 very good thing or a bad thing, depending on what's going on. After all, look at this, the military fleet here. You can see we can set a home base for it. I could set the Maelstrom over here as my home base, and then if say we have an engagement where we fight in this system, my guys can come back if they get beaten faster than these guys can if they get beaten. So it's a very, very good idea not to go and mess up too badly. Oh, and it appears we have an alien race. Okay, so we are, of course, going to immediately pull you off of there. Sorry, guys. While we're at it, we're going to... we can't yet. Prepare sleeper cells is a very, very good idea if you're if you need to take them off, because if you just take them off, this goes down, and you don't want the infiltration level to go down, because then you'll have to rebuild it again, and that's just an annoying crap. Just a bunch of annoying crap. So, we are, of course, well, honestly, I think we're going to call it here. Our military ship is just about to hit the last probe location. We still have to go and recover this one, but this last one should at least guarantee me that we're cleared out of all of our aggressive possibilities here. We are slowly building up our fleet to eventually attack these guys. I don't think I want to attack them until I got at least 50 ships. Mostly because, honestly, if I do have 50 ships, I don't have to worry about anything they got, because, well, they're probably the same level as I am in terms of how many ships they can produce. I'd love to have the 105, but I think that's kind of unrealistic. But, like I said, that's where we're going to leave it for now. Thank you all for watching, and sayonara.